All right. What's up, everybody? I'll give this a couple seconds to go. This as well. Just going live on the socials real quick. Recapping a little bit. My chair's sinking. That's fun. Recapping yesterday. Talking about day 2 today. Why is my chair still sinking? That's real fun. I love the slow descent that it does because that just makes me feel real good. Let me try this again. Maybe it's this chair's on its last legs. Maybe that's what it's telling me. So recapping real quick. Yesterday was a lot of fun. The rain was a little bit of a look at this. Recapping a little bit of yesterday's Upheaval Festival. I think the rain, I'm surprised. I didn't think it was going to rain as much as it ended up doing, but it didn't seem like it really deterred anyone from going to the festival. It didn't really seem like it bothered any of the bands. Actually, if anything, I would say it was kind of a nice reprieve from the almost 90-degree day we were supposed to have. So it made it for a much more enjoyable festival. Just kind of overcast, nice and breezy, which for a festival, honestly, you couldn't ask for anything better. I didn't get to catch some of the bands since I was working that I wanted to, but getting to see everybody from the Upheaval socials posting about the sets, different bands that were playing, catching other bands. And honestly, that's something that I love to see is bands going to check out other bands. So it was really awesome to see that and feel like you were a part of the set. I myself was able to catch a little bit of Theory from a Dead Man. That's about the time we got there. They sounded great. I don't know if I'm technically allowed to say it like this, but I feel like there was a drastic improvement in sound from last year to this year. Just even casually walking by the stages, everything sounded a lot better. I don't know if it's just the touring people bringing their own sound people, if the gear is better or whatever, but that is something I noticed that was a lot better from day one, was just how great everyone sounded. I feel like too the other thing that was really good is just the vibe of this year from last year. So last year for me personally, I'll say that it felt it was one of the first shows back kind of post pandemic, even though we were still kind of right in the throes of things. I will definitely say that last year it felt more of a we're excited to be back to this. It's kind of like the dip in the toes in kind of, even though it's a festival and there's hundreds of thousands of us there. Excuse me. But it was something to the point where this year's festival didn't kind of have more of that. I don't want to say morose or kind of like a this bigger thing, like this sense of heaviness of like, wow, we're kind of all here again, and we didn't know if we would ever be back. I feel like this is more of things are back to normal. We're all there to have a good time. We're seeing friends maybe that couldn't travel last year coming out to this thing. So for me, it was definitely a really nice vibe at this year's festival that was not quite present for the same reasons last year. Aaron Jones sounded really good as well. Got to check out part of their sets. Obviously, the big news of the day for a lot of people was seeing Mudvayne. I know going into it, there was a lot of people. This is annoying. This is real fucking annoying. I know going into the festival, there are a lot of people who were wondering how they were going to sound. Obviously, news was made last year of Mudvayne getting back together, playing their first set since the breakup or the hiatus or whatever it is you want to call it. And, people weren't too kind with how they sounded. And I think there was a lot of trepidation on some people's parts as to how they were going to sound. And I will say, as someone who, wasn't as far back as front of house to hear it from there, I will say being right next to all of the stacks of PA equipment and all that kind of stuff between the band and the barricade, this sounded great. The set was lean and mean. It focused heavily on The first two records, with a couple of singles from the third record sprinkled in, was super tight, super great. I think adding the backing guitar player vocalist has allowed the band to kind of round out and fill out the sound a lot more, to be more of how you hear it on those first two records with a little bit of the overdubbing and so forth. Um, Chad was a fucking monster. He was all over that stage. He was in the crowd. The crowd, from everything I could see, was loving it. Um, it was one of those where it's a reminder of why that band is so fucking revered, for the legacy that they had of the first couple records, and was really making me wish that that tour that was coming around was coming around, because I would go see that band again in a heart, a heartbeat. I would go see that band in a heartbeat. Um, we ended up catching some of the Avatar sets. Um, I think something that I really enjoy about what Upheaval has done this year is putting some of the other bigger bands on the lookout stage. Fire from the Gods, while I didn't end up getting to see them, like I said, with other bands and Upheaval doing a great job of posting on their socials, the various bands and they're playing. It was one of those where it seemed like the idea this year was to get people to go up there this year to go see some of these bands. So I think, putting some of these bigger bands on that stage was a really good idea. This chair is just becoming its own comedic bit at this point. So it was one of those where, you know, I see way more people up there than I saw all of last year, other than at the very end when you had like your headliners closing out the stage. So to be able to see so many people going to like the smaller stages and getting people up there, I think was a great move on Upheaval's part to do that. I think it's obviously working. I'm very excited to go see a lot of the bands today play up there. Um, I even actually I joked in my pre-coverage of the festival, joked about them getting shuttles like golf carts to take people up and down that hill, but insert Kate Bush reference there. But it was one of those where it definitely seems like they're doing that. So if you are someone who took advantage of that, that's awesome. I think I'm going to try to get my steps in and not be a complete lazy piece of shit today. But today I am actually, before I talk about today's sets, the other thing too is to round out. So when Mudvayne was finished, we caught a little bit of Avatar. Pretty much my phone was almost dead, in spite of trying to charge it throughout the day. But we then made it to Intersection to go see Spirit Box and Fire from the Gods. That was crazy. I've been going to the Intersection for a long time, and while I've seen shows with a long line to get in, I don't know that I've ever seen the line wrapped all the way to the expressway on ramp. It was sold out. I think the main room holds, I believe it's 1,800 people. Um, to see hundreds of people that far getting ready for the show was awesome. At one point, I got a little bit of Fire from the Gods video while I got in, and then my phone tanked. So obviously, I did not get any footage of Spirit Box playing, but it was crazy to see the energy right away. Song one, everyone was singing along. Courtney had made a comment in between the first song to the next about how supposedly it was the band's first headline show in the States, and it was sold out. So I think that speaks to just how far Spirit Box has come in such a short time of being a band. And they sounded great. Crowd, like I said, crowd was into it. It was a lot of fun. Definitely one of those things where I'm excited to see next year how the after shows expand for all people. I think it's just something great for fans of rock and metal, where you get to literally have a full day between not only the full day of the festival, but also having an after show to go to if you would like. I think it's great. I would love to see what happens beyond that, maybe even a pre show before the festival next year, possibly even another post set to end things. Speaking to today's set, I'm probably going to be taking off here. It's almost 10 o'clock. I'm probably going to be taking off in a little bit to gear up to go see the Heartsick Dudes kick things off at 1:20 on the main stage. Um, If you saw the Instagram live stuff yesterday, you saw that I talked to Alfonso back in catering while he was eating cheesecake. Um, Definitely some cool things planned for that. The band I know has put in a lot of work. I wouldn't be surprised if Alfonso's probably standing outside the festival handing out flyers like he did yesterday. Um, it's funny, you see a lot of bands that will post, hey, we're playing this stage, we're playing this festival, we're doing these things. But what you don't see is some of the bands showing up the day before and flyering the event. It's definitely one of those where it's like the old school work mentality and work ethic shining through. And I think a lot of people are going to come out and see these guys. I know they converted a lot of people last year at their set on the Lookout stage. I think they played like midday, like 5 o'clock ish, maybe six. Um, but I'm excited to see the set. I'm excited to bring some of it to whomever wants to watch on the socials. I'm gonna try to do as much, like I said, of the lives or filming video as much as I can, and then posting them. Um, I'm really excited for this whole day. Honestly, I mean, not taking anything away from Friday's thing, but this one to me is more stacked across the board with bands that I personally enjoy. I'm so pumped to see Hatebreed. It's been a while since I've gotten to see them, and they always deliver. So I'm so amped to see them. Um, John 5 is playing tonight at the intersection with Nagazi. They should be a good time. I think it's an Elevation. So one of my there's not really a bad venue in the intersection, but I think Elevation's more of one of my favorites just because it feels for being like an 800 cap room, it feels really intimate. And there's good sight lines all the way around with the way that they do kind of like a horseshoe shape facing the stage at various levels. So if you're in town and you haven't gotten tickets to that, you still can. I believe you just go to Section Live, or I think you can go to upheavalfest.com and still go pick up tickets for that. I think I heard last night at the intersection that they were doing buy one, get one for the John 5 show. I don't know if that was only at the venue or whatever, but like I said, you can go to probably sectionlive.com or upheavalfest.com and go pick up tickets for that. Still tickets available for today. Still plenty of time to gear up and come to the festival. Like I said, we got Heartsick at 120 on the main stage. Catharsis' Theory kicking things off at the Lookout stage at 1. Diamante at 2:15, replacing Nita Strauss, who by now had to leave Alice Cooper and leave her solo touring because she is now the guitar player for Demi Lovato. So congrats to her for the new opportunity. Kind of a bummer we don't get to see her because she rips, but Diamante is no slouch in her own right. And a very worthy replacement for Nita. City Week plays at 1:45, and over on the Lookout stage, Escape the Fate. I haven't seen them in a while, but they always get a good crowd, good set to get people going. Dead at 4:20 over on the Lookout stage. Planning on running into Joe at some point today. We've been messaging back and forth about meeting up after their set. So I will probably film some of their set, go live during it, and then we'll probably do a quick chat afterwards. So that'll probably be 5-ish maybe. But then I also might postpone that for a minute and go check out Hatebreed and then go do it. I don't miss Hatebreed. Now that Every Time I Die is no longer around, Hatebreed is probably the band that I see the most. So there's that. I'm going to end this though. Hopefully I will see you at Upheaval today. I will have some stickers. I will have some pins. If you find me, come check us out. Talk to you later. Bye.